All right, looks like we're ready to go. Well, welcome to everyone. Welcome to our graduates, most of all. Welcome to the families who are online and family and friends who are in the audience. Graduation really is not only a celebration of you, but it's as much a celebration of your family and friends. I think it's that not only about the graduation from WashU, but that journey that you've made all along the way and that you're about to take that next step. So congratulations to not only you, but all to the family and friends who are in the audience here to join us here as well as around the globe. I'd also like to recognize our staff and our faculty and other friends who are here today. You have also been a big part of that journey for all of these graduates. Been there to support them, been there to encourage them through difficult times, and are here today to celebrate that joy with them. So hope you stay in touch with each of those faculty, mentors that you have, and friends along the way. What I'd like to do is just provide a few comments, very brief. As you know, I tend to be very brief, and then go ahead and turn it over to our first speaker. What I'd like to frame my comments around are really the three pillars that we've talked about throughout the Academy, which is really leadership, global perspective, and community. As we think about leadership, it is really to think about how to use your knowledge and talent to make that positive difference in the world. It's not about what position you're going to be in, it's not about what role you have, but it's really about stepping forward to do this regardless of that role. And as we've talked about the notion of global leaders, it's not that you have to be a leader who's going to be the next president of Ghana, next president of Brazil or Chile, but is really, I think, the advice of one of your classmates before you, Chen Li, who said. So Chen Li's advice was to do this, to focus your efforts on local engagement with the global mindset. In other words, think about how you can make a difference in your community or how to make a difference with the people around you. You live and work, and I think that was a piece of great advice. So we look forward to seeing how you do this leadership every day. Second is a global perspective. You certainly bring, through your experience here, through your entire time, a unique and diverse perspective compared to others. And it's something that we here in the world need a lot, to be able to understand others and to work with others and respect others' differences. And then lastly is community. After today's event, you'll join a growing body of McDonnell Academy alumni. I believe after today we'll have 178. And a very large and growing number, rapidly growing number. And as you spread across the globe, you make these important contributions to your communities in science, in business, government, and social services. And Jim's motto, I think we say often, but we'll say again, that you are scholars for life, and we look forward to keeping that connection with you. So again, take those pillars of the Academy with you throughout your life and help others develop those also. I'd like to now turn to our first speaker, and John McDonnell, who you all know. Some of our people online and in the audience may not know as well, so John, I'm going to give you just a few introductory comments about you. John exemplifies all those three pillars we just talked about of the Academy: being a leader, having a global perspective, and building a community. He's a founding chairman of the board of BioSTL, a nonprofit established in 2011 to encourage capital formation, to stimulate entrepreneurial activity, support regional efforts, and to promote St. Louis life science developments with local, state, and federal government agencies. He also has been involved in numerous other civic boards and organizations, and is a chairman of the boards of Washington University in St. Louis, Barnes Jewish Hospital, the Federal Reserve of St. Louis Science Center, Donald Danforth Plant Science Center, and the Eisenhower Fellows Program. Before all this, John had a 35-year career at McDonnell Douglas, including serving as Chief Executive Officer. He retired as the chairman of the board of McDonnell Douglas in 1997, when the company merged with Boeing, and he then served as a member of the Boeing Board of Directors until 2012. Of course, we know John most from being the founding donor and helping to envision the McDonnell International Scholars Academy. He continues to be involved in all of our activities in the Academy, and most recently traveled with us to Washington, D.C., which we all very much appreciated. John, I'd like to invite you to say a few words to our graduates and families.
Well, first, I want to address my remarks to the 10 of you. This recognition ceremony marks the culmination of your hard work as you have each earned a graduate degree at Washington University and as you've developed as scholars of the Academy. Your years here have been unusual, to say the least. Most of you came pre-COVID, but all of you have spent the past 2 years in a very different paradigm, which has required a blend of adaptability, resilience, flexibility, and persistence to be able to achieve your goals. The fact that you're here today, having earned your graduate degrees, shows that you are well prepared as you venture out into the next phase of your lives, wherever and whatever it will be. Know, however, that you're adventuring into a world that is still riven by dangerous viruses, both biological and political. The current biological virus, COVID-19, seems to be becoming less virulent but more infectious with each new variant. Overall, that's good news, but it's still capable of disrupting lives and livelihoods. And it's causing a new normal, not yet fully defined, for how we're going to be able to live our lives. The political viruses of populism, nationalism, and xenophobia are still rampant on every continent, and they are not likely to transition from the pandemic to an endemic phase for some time to come. So you will have to deal with both types of virus, biological and political, as you venture forth. But you are as prepared as anyone can be to cope with them. In fact, I'm hopeful that you will be part of the eventual solutions to both of those types of viruses. The broad global view that you have gained from your leadership exposure and through your association with your fellow scholars, representing diverse cultures, ideologies, and academic perspectives, will stand you in good stead as you navigate your way in the complex world. As you venture forth, I encourage you to stay connected to the McDonnell Academy, but especially to your fellow scholars. There is a growing network of alumni spread around the world in many different professions who you can call on and gain strength from as you take on more leadership responsibilities throughout your careers and throughout your lives. I laud you for what you have accomplished, often in trying conditions, and I look forward to enjoying your future achievements. Remember, the McDonnell Academy is here always for you. You are Scholars for Life.
Thanks, John, and thanks to you for being a Scholar for Life. You're always here with us, and we very much appreciate that and use that as a model for us. The next piece we'd like to hear from each of our graduates, just to say a few words as they leave. It's, I think, a special time to hear a little bit about what they took away and things that they want us to think about. So what we'll do is I'll do an introduction of each. If you want to come up, just say a few words, and we'll make sure to have time for each one of you. We're going to start with Emmanuel Binney. Emmanuel received his MBA yesterday from the Olin Business School, came from the partner at the University of Ghana, and he will be joining ServiceNow, which is a software company in Santa Clara, California, as a senior treasury analyst. Emmanuel.
We did it. Yes, I will first of all like to congratulate my colleagues, the class of 2022, and just to encourage you that it's a great feat. I would say in recent times, we might be the most resilient team looking at this situation surrounding our program. I remember back in Ghana trying to get a visa was as difficult as preparing for my GRE exams. So you could just imagine the kind of difficulty and challenges we had to persevere through. And in all, this goal was made possible by the probable support of the Academy. And I'll use this opportunity to kind of appreciate all the support the Academy gave to us, our donors and everything, faculty members, everybody, and also kind to accommodate our grievances sometimes and also kind of align with our goals. I would say it's time for us to go out there, make an impact, and also bear in mind that we've kind of acquired some sort of level of leadership skills, and we go out there to make an impact and make sure in our own small way we are contributing to society. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to ask Felipe Godoy to speak. He got his Master's of Public Health and Population Health Sciences from the School of Medicine. Came to us from the State University of Campinas. And after leaving here, Felipe is negotiating with a hospital in the city in the region in Sao Paulo, Brazil. They've offered him a job as an infectious disease doctor at their outpatient clinics and another post to do hospital-acquired infection surveillance. Felipe.
Good afternoon, and congratulate to my fellow graduates. I would like to use this time to appreciate and say thank you for McDonnell Academy and Washington University for more than just giving me a scholarship. I think McDonnell Academy has given me opportunity to study in a outstanding university, to live abroad, to engage in a community, to understand the importance of leadership and building network, to engage in social and political issues, and also to make new friends and bond to them. I also want to thank my mom for pushing me to go further. This is a funny story. Since I was a little kid, every semester she would sit with me with my grades in her hand and to discuss them with me. And she would look to everything but A+. So here how it goes. She finds an A, she looked me in the eye and say, "Why isn't this an A+?" And man, I get so angry. I'm like, why can't you be happy for me? I did really well. And this was never supposed to be a punishment. This was supposed to make me think about my journey to there, and if I did everything I could to get the best grade I could. And by thinking about that, I could think for the next semester, can I do better? Can I perform better? And this is a lesson for life. We tend to reevaluate our actions, our relationships, our work, our research, only if things go south, only if it's not good. But we could reevaluate our choices and everything, every step of the way, to try to be better for the next time, even though we are very good, even though I got an A, Mom. So now I get it. I also want to thank my mentors and advisors to this process for spending their time teaching and spreading their knowledge. And I will just want to say one remark for Dr. Monica Jaques from Brazil, who is my inspiration in my career. So I would like to thank her. So all these things merge together, the teaching from my mentor, the love from my mom, the opportunities that McDonnell Academy gave me to make me want to be better. So for that, I thank you.
That's a beautiful message and great words of wisdom. Thank you. That's really great. Okay, we'd like to now ask Yuri Goldstein to come up. Received his PhD, biomedical engineering from the McKelvey School of Engineering. Came to us from the partner, the Technion. Yuri, and the other thing that Yuri got while he's here, not only degree, but married, so wife also. So Yuri and Rachel will be going on their honeymoon, and he's currently looking for jobs to secure after return. Yuri.
Thank you everyone for being here. I would like to share with you why I decided I wanted to be here as well. When I was at the Technion before coming here, I watched a presentation by Dr. Rudy, who's the ambassador from the McDonnell Academy to the Technion in Israel. And he gave one of the most impressive talks I've seen before and during my time here. And he really showed how, besides his research, he was really a light in the field of electrical activity and cardiac activity within biomedical engineering. And his talk was really impressive, and I decided I wanted to be there. And maybe where he was part, it would be probably a good place to be in. And hence, I applied to WashU and the McDonnell Academy and eventually made it here. And I wanted to thank every one of you, John McDonnell, Chancellor Wrighton, Jim, Teresa that accepted me, and the staff here at McDonnell Academy now, Laura, Kurt, and every single scholar from which I learned and took a lesson from every one of you that helped me get a step closer to that presentation. And I think this was a really important part of my journey, and I really look forward to using all the skills and tools I learned here, both in the academy, at the biomedical engineering in BME, to advance my career both within the field of biomedical engineering, but also as a leader and having impacts on research that really improves and betters the life of all of us as humanity. Thank you very much.
Connie Wang received her PhD in economics from the School of Arts and Sciences. Came to us from Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and she will be joining Amazon as a full-time economist when she leaves. Connie.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my great pleasure to be one of the graduating McDonnell Scholars this year. Congrats to all my fellow scholars. You made it. Over the past 6 years, McDonnell International Scholars Academy has really been an integral part of my study here. It is more than a scholarship. The key words for me are community and leadership. It has provided me a great community for me to make friends with all of you. I met my best friend Wen here, and continue to make friends and exchange ideas with people across different disciplines. And second keyword is leadership. Through the leadership as great examples and role models, and attending seminars, symposiums, I get to learn to become a better leader and always stay curious for what is going on in the world and keep an open mind for people who has different opinions from me. So for all of these, I thank the McDonnell Academy for providing me the inspirations. And I'll carry on with these memories, inspirations to the next stage of my career. And lastly, I want to shout out to my boyfriend Jason in the audience, who has provided me endless supports during my PhD study. I could not make it without you. So thank you, and thank you all.
Okay, I'd like to ask Dr. Nora Fenway, who received her MPH in public health from the Brown School. She came to us as a global scholar from Nigeria, and she'll be leaving here to go to Lumeris in the leadership development program. Nora.
Oof, yeah. Hello, Mama. I can see you. She's a very emotional moment for me. First of all, I'd like to say congrats to everyone graduating today, Resilience cohort. Woo! Yeah, and thank you to the Academy, and thank you for the opportunity. I remember 2 years ago, I was writing in my essay, and I was like, the most important things I wanted to learn was leadership and learn how to advocate for policy, especially for developing countries like where I come from. But like, I'm living here today with more than just those two things that I wrote in my essay. I'm living here with friends who have become family. I'm living here with a vast network of people that I can always reach out to, which I'm very grateful of. And I would like to say a special shout out to Laura and Kurt for their continuous career advice. I ran to them many times, and they know. And I'd like to thank everyone. I'm super grateful for this opportunity, and I will do it over and over again. And I would just like to say thank you so much for picking me. Honestly, I'm super grateful, and I will continue to be a scholar for life and continue to carry the McDonnell pillar on my mantle and moving forward. Thank you.
We're glad your mom could join us online. You have a wonderful daughter. We're very, very honored, very proud to have her with us. Next, I'd like to invite Wei Pan to join us up here. PhD in Energy, Environmental, and Chemical Engineering. I understand he's defending his dissertation tomorrow, and his chair is going to allow him to Monday, and it's going to pass that, of course. From McKelvey School of Engineering, Wei came to us from Peking University, and he will leave here to join Yale University as a postdoc associate beginning in August.
Thank you, Lord. A very good afternoon now. And there are some words that kept me going those 5 years as I imagine achieving my PhD degree. It is not an easy ride. I mean, everyone knows it is not an easy ride. And there were ample difficulties and obstacles on the way. Some tear me apart. Some broke me into the point that I was ready to give up. But there are something that would not let me, excuse me, something inside me that want to try more, something inside me to give me hope and the willpower to continue. Excuse me. At this time point, I would like to thank myself for never giving up. Well, yeah, thank you. However, no matter how self-efficient I am, I could not achieve anything without those peoples. I thank my parents, Yuanqing and Ding Hong. They cannot be here, but I thank them for their loving and unconditional support. Their love is like the ocean. I thank my PhD mentor, Dr. Daniel Jamar, who is sitting there, for his continuous support over those years. He guides me on the right path. I thank my girlfriend, Emma, who sits back at the back row, for being a pillar of my support. I thank my friends and all McDonnell cohorts for walking me through my PhD. Last but not the least, I thank Kurt, Laura, Jim, Teresa, who is not here, Christine, and Latonia, where's that? Oh yeah, Latonia, Marti, and Angie. And also my ambassadors, Dr. Barbara Shaw, and Zhao Ma, who is sitting there, and Mr. John McDonnell and Chancellor Wrighton. The McDonnell Academy is not only a place where I have learned leadership and a global mindset, it's also a home for me in St. Louis. Thank you all.
John, I think you and I don't need to speak. We just need the graduates, I think, are our best ways, right? Next, I'd like to ask Adriana Negagliona Rivera. I'm sorry, I butchered your name there. Receiving her MD from the School of Medicine. She's a U.S. scholar, and she'll be staying at WashU Barnes Jewish Hospital for her residency in OB/GYN. Adriana?
I really want to start off by just saying thank you to the Academy for believing in me, supporting me, and just creating a community where from day one in St. Louis, I had people to turn to and made such incredible friends, especially during the pandemic where being a medical student was not the easiest experience. It was so wonderful to just have another group of people to reach out to and do walks in the park and different activities via Zoom, which became the new reality. But I'm just so, so grateful that I was able to have a much larger community than I could have ever imagined outside of the medical school and just throughout all of WashU. I want to say congrats to all my fellow scholars. I know we've all worked really hard and we're finally here. And I just want to say thank you all for believing in me. And I'm so excited to continue to engage with the Academy as I stay here in St. Louis.
Jose Patricio Sullivan received his PhD in Hispanic Language and Literatures from the School of Arts and Sciences as a partner at the University of Chile. And Jose will be going back to Chile. He will start a job at a finance company while also teaching a class at the University Adolfo Ibáñez in Santiago.
Hi, everyone. So like 7 years ago, when I decided I wanted to do a PhD here in the US, what I was looking for was not only like the research and reading a lot and writing a lot, which is what I love to do. Also, I wanted to meet people from everywhere in the world. Sadly, in my program, we are almost everyone is from Latin America. So the global experience was not really there. So for me, the Academy was a huge opportunity to meet people from everywhere in the world. So not only meet the people, but also go to everywhere in the world. Thank you, you brought me to China, so thank you so much. I never thought I would go to China. So the trips and the people especially really gave me like a global mindset. And I'm really, really thankful for that. Also, I have the huge luck of having here every single person that helped me going through this PhD. As some of my fellows said, this is not easy. This is a long journey. I have my mom, my wife, and my two best friends here with me who helped me to go through this, so thank you very much. My mom doesn't speak any English, so I'm going to say this in Spanish. Mamá, muchas gracias. And muchas gracias. Thank you very much to you all, and I hope to see you around. Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to ask Margaret Min Wang to say a few words. Received a PhD in Chinese and Comparative Literature, School of Arts and Sciences, Peking University, is our partner. And Margaret's currently looking for academic jobs, probably in China, and she will return there in August. Margaret.
Thank you, Kurt, and thank you everyone for being here today. And it's really lucky for us to gather here today. This morning when we have the very scary big rain, I was worried that this ceremony might be canceled, but luckily we're here now. And now it's the end of my 9th year here at WashU, so it's a time for a big but also difficult farewell for me to say to WashU and also the Academy. And a lot of friends and fellow scholars I have known from the old days have already left WashU and the Academy, and soon I will be joining them. So at this moment, I'm already feeling the kind of nostalgia for all the experiences I have had at the Academy. One of the most vivid memories I have at the Academy is the monthly lunches, which we had in this same room here. And at the monthly lunches, we had a lot of fun games, and we also had very insightful speeches from scholars from different disciplines. And I was very lucky to be one of the co-organizers, and I learned a lot from the experiences. And the second kind of memory is also student activities in the Academy. We had this kind of interdisciplinary discussion groups in which we invited a lot of students, fellow scholars from different disciplines. And in those discussions, we not only knew more about each other, but we also had a lot of insights sparkling in our discussions, and I enjoyed the discussions as well. And also the 2 international symposiums, which I had been, one in Australia and the other in China, Beijing, China. I remember I listened to a lot of very insightful and significant speeches from scholars, and also our fellow scholars went out together and we went to karaoke and we had chats over snacks and drinks all overnight, and so it was very unforgettable experiences for me at the Academy. And also at this very difficult time right now when we had pandemic and problems of politics and wars around the world, I think the Academy had provided us with a lot of valuable opportunities to have open and equal discussions among our fellow scholars. So I think these opportunities allowed us to experience and practice leadership, which is the most important lesson that the Academy had taught me. And I want to thank John McDonnell and Chancellor Wrighton for making all these opportunities possible for us, and also James and Kurt and for giving us a lot of support, and especially James and Mary, who had introduced me to a lot of interesting stage dramas here in St. Louis. And I also want to thank Laura and Angie, Christine, Latonia, and Murty for all your swift responses to our questions and needs all the time. So it's time for me to enter the big world and join my old friends now. And I will always remember all the gifts and experiences that the Academy had given me. And thank you.
And then our last scholar today, Chen Chong Zhang, receiving his PhD in Energy, Environment, and Chemical Engineering from McKelvey School of Engineering. His partner he came to us from was Tsinghua University. He will join the Department of Earth, Atmospheric, and Planetary Sciences at Purdue University as a postdoctoral researcher, mainly studying the atmospheric particles' impact on climate system.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I mean, it's great to see everyone here and also virtually, and to congrats scholars graduation. So there is a long list to thank, and to John, to Chancellor Wrighton, to Chancellor Martin for the creation of this academy, and also to directors Kurt, Jean, and also Laura and Teresa, and also the coordinators, Christine, no, not here. Yeah, Christine, I'm sorry. Yeah, Christine, Angie, and Marty, and Latonia, and also Carla for your continuous support. So McDonnell's Academy's major role is to cultivate leadership and also improve the connections. And so it also gives us great opportunities to expose us to the broader communities. I still remember that during my first year here, I had the opportunity to host a special seminar for Mr. David Conner, and his talk, I remember the title is like the moral hazard between the banks and individuals, has given me the initial motivation to do my second year GRV session to apply the prisoner dilemmas into the climate change negotiation. So really, we know that not every graduate students have such chance to access such activities. So we are really appreciated with that. And also, I want to thank my research mentor, Dr. Chakrabarty, and he's now ambassador of IIT Bombay, and also Dr. Pratim Biswas, and he's the one who introduced me to the WashU, and also the ambassador, Dr. Taoju, who is the ambassador of my home university, Tsinghua University. So without their help, I cannot make here, and also they have given very detailed guidance on my research as well. So thanks all, and also at last, thanks to my family and also my lovely girlfriend Nikki, whom I met during the last year McDonnell reception, and also congrats, and also congrats to my fellows, and all the best to the scholars for your next adventure. Thanks you all. Yeah.
One finds all kinds of unexpected things by being part of the McDonnell Academy. Well, thanks to each of you for those wonderful words and thoughts for each of us. I think it really captures, what we hope for the Academy, to think about the great times that you've had, the people that you've connected with, and then also to look forward. And so thanks to each of you for that, for sharing those words. We want to now give you something to take away with us to remember the Academy by. So I think, Laura, you are reading out the names, and John and I will hand you a gift and to take with you.
I actually know that Emmanuel Biney is first.
There you go.
So, Emmanuel Biney. Coalesce on the left side. Good job, Dan. Doing great work there in the second row. Felipe Godoy. Yuri Goldstein. Take that. Connie Yuan Huang. Dr. Nora Ifeyinwa EJ. Wei Yi Pan. Adriana Nigaglioni Rivera. Jose Patricio Sullivan. We needed to put, the tape marking like they do on stage direction for blocking here. Margaret Min Wang. Chen Chong Zhang.
Well, to help provide some final thoughts, we'd like to ask Chancellor Mark Wrighton to come up in just a moment. I'll provide just a short introduction of Mark for those in the audience. Mark S. Wrighton was elected president of George Washington University January 1st, 2022. For almost 24 years prior to that, Chancellor Mark Wrighton served as the 14th Chancellor and Chief Executive Officer of Washington University in St. Louis. In the years following his appointment, Washington University made significant progress in student quality, campus improvements, resource development, curriculum, and international reputation. During his tenure as Chancellor, Washington University's accomplishments included more than a twofold increase in undergraduate applications, more than 350 new endowed professorships for faculty, a redesigned arts and sciences curriculum, newly created programs in biomedical engineering, public health, American cultural studies, and the completion of more than 50 new buildings. And of course, most important to us is the founder of the McDonnell International Scholars Academy. Mark, along with John McDonnell, provided the vision for the Academy and made it a reality. And he continues to be one of our biggest champions today. Thank you, Mark.
Good afternoon, and to the graduates, I'm very proud to be here and proud of you. And I look forward to hearing about your great contributions as you continue your lives and careers beyond Washington University. In case you are wondering, in terms of how you address me, Mr. President is fine. I've been in Washington, D.C. for the last 5 months or so. I've learned a lot, and I appreciate very much what we have here at Washington University. I'm very pleased with the development of the McDonnell International Scholars Academy, and I could not be more pleased with what has unfolded in this important program. As some of you would know, I was hosting the McDonnell Scholars on the cohort trip to Washington, D.C. In terms of laying the groundwork for our hosting the group at our Elliott School of International Affairs, I visited with the dean, Alyssa Ayers. Alyssa learned about the program and shared with me that it is a fabulous program, unique in the world. And that, of course, felt really good, because I do believe it is not only unique, but it is very significant. Just look at the 10 scholars in terms of where they come from, the fields they're engaged with, and the uniqueness of coming together from time to time. This doesn't happen in graduate and professional programs across the United States. So diversity, this ability to come together and exchange views and experiences is so vital, it's so important, and so much a contribution to the education of the McDonnell Scholars. Of course, a very important part of the program is to strengthen relationships with institutions around the world. And when you look at the institutions that these scholars come from, we're partnered, as I aspired to do, we're partnered with premier institutions around the world. And it's great to see that we have good representation among these 10 scholars. As you heard, with these graduates, we'll have 178 alumni of the McDonnell International Scholars Academy, and we will have this fall about 100 active scholars pursuing degrees, and these scholars and the other 168 alumni illustrate that it can be done, that you can graduate from Washington University. And I'm looking forward to having this great group continue to be engaged with Washington University and with each other and making important contributions around the world. I still give presentations about areas of activity that I'm especially pleased with having been associated with here at Washington University. And when I slip up, you know, in terms of referencing Washington University, I'm at the other Washington University. And just as a simple aside, I wanted to let you know that the co-founder of Washington University in St. Louis was an early alumnus of George Washington University, William Greenleaf Eliot. But one of the early aspirations that I have on a slide with a great photograph of John McDonnell is that our objective in launching the Academy was to build cooperation and understanding among people and institutions of the world. And we are doing just that. And this could not be more important. We are facing a global crisis in several dimensions, and I believe that programs like this will ultimately contribute to making the world a better place, more peaceful, more prosperous, and more rewarding for all. For anyone who has been in college or professional school or graduate school in the last couple of years, there is one word that I think characterizes this group, and it's resilience. Resilience. You have demonstrated that. It has been a tough time. On top of all the demands of extraordinary work leading to fulfillment of degree requirements, you have had to cope with all the challenges of the global pandemic, and you have exhibited resilience. I hope you will permit me this story about our commencement speaker at George Washington University. We had our commencement on the National Mall. On the stage, I could see this wonderful crowd of graduates and families and friends, and I saw the Washington Monument in the distance. And behind me, looking through the way the stage was constructed, the audience could see the U.S. Capitol building. Our commencement speaker really illustrated what resilience can bring. Her name was Elena Myers Taylor. She was an Olympian in the Beijing Olympics this past winter. She was a softball star at George Washington University. She set virtually every school record in offensive play in women's softball. And she had the aspiration to compete in the Olympics in women's softball. She prepared, she tried out, and she failed. Unfortunately, thereafter, it was announced that women's softball would no longer be an Olympic sport. But she still had this desire to compete in the Olympics. So of all things, coming from California, not being exposed to snow and ice, she became a bobsledder. And she did, in fact, compete in the Olympics. But her story was another set of challenges. Of course, moving from softball to bobsledding was a tremendous change, and she did it. It required enormous training and great difficulty, and she did it. And this time, in the 2022 Winter Olympics, she traveled to Beijing, and upon arrival, she tested positive for COVID-19. She was immediately quarantined in a small hotel room with no physical resources in terms of continuing to train, not even knowing that she would be able to compete. But she worked out in her confined space in that hotel room for 10 days, hoping that she would be testing negative, enabling her to compete. Fortunately, that did occur, and she did compete, and she ended up winning more medals than any Black athlete in the Winter Olympics. She is an example of a person who has resilience, and I commend yourselves to commit yourself to high goals, meaningful goals, and to exhibit resilience in achieving them. Thank you for being a part of WashU University, and I look forward to learning more about you and your lives and careers ahead. Congratulations.
I do want to take another moment to congratulate all of our outstanding graduates. This is a momentous occasion, and you should feel so very proud of all the work you have done to get here. So one more round of congratulations. In addition, I know, Yuri, your wedding was mentioned, but I believe Dr. Adriana also was married this year. So I wanted to just wish you both well. They didn't get married to each other, if you were worried about that. Not that that hasn't happened in prior cohorts, but we wanted to just take a moment to wish you well on this next chapter of your lives and just congratulate the two of you and spouses who might be here. The end of every academic year is a time of change, and this year is no exception. As you all know, Kurt will be moving on from his academy director role to a new leadership position within the university. While we are absolutely, of course, 100% definitely excited for him to leave, we are going to miss his guidance and leadership here at the academy. When I joined the academy nearly 4 years ago, I had had only a few brief interactions with Kurt prior to that. I did, however, check him out, and I knew he had a good reputation as a great boss. I want to say that this has absolutely been the case. He has challenged our team to bring new ideas, given us the space and time to deliver on those ideas, and encouraged us to find ways to be effective and efficient. Over the last 4 years, we have crystallized the mission of the academy. We have developed 3 guiding pillars to help us focus our work and continue to build the trust and confidence in our team. For me, I have felt valued as an employee. My ideas have been both heard and implemented, and I definitely had enough freedom and support to try new things. And boy, have we tried a few things over the last few years. Some have been more successful than others. The Global Scholars and the Seed Grant initiatives have been wild successes. The others, which we won't mention today, are still a work in progress. Kurt's ability to instill confidence in both our scholars and our team has led us to finding more success in everything that we've done. I will miss this aspect of his leadership. I have had a few bosses over the course of my career, and all of them have taught me important lessons about myself and helped me to grow as both an employee and a person. Kurt has done all of these leaders one better and become a mentor to all of us. In addition just to being the boss. We have also learned more about our personal leadership styles. Kurt's expertise and trust in leadership has rubbed off on us over the last 4 years. From changes in the leadership seminar to incorporate more data-driven content and self-exploration opportunities, we have opened up an important dialogue about leadership that has created new pathways for all of our scholars and our team to be more confident, more aware, and more successful leaders. I'm not the only one who's been grateful for Kurt's guidance. Here are a few thoughts from our team. Quote, Kurt has always prioritized efficiency and streamlining our efforts to allow for work-life balance and always encouraged the scholars to further examine their own perspectives and strive to understand each other. His leadership throughout these unique and unprecedented times fostered collaboration, strengthened teamwork, and reinforced the Academy's commitment to provide the best experience for our scholars. Another person said, I have much appreciation for Kurt's trust in me, for believing in some of my crazy ideas and encouraging me to pursue them. Kurt has led our team with a clear vision and a deep commitment to serving our scholars and supporting the team. As I reflect back on the last few years, what stands out most is Kurt's effort to create a truly collaborative culture, both within our office and across campus. He has built bridges between the Academy and many different corners of the university. Indeed, that is the mark of a true leader. And one final example. We are all grateful for the trust Kurt has put in our team to continue to do the amazing work that we love. His leadership has helped increase our visibility and impact for our scholars, our partners, and Washington University. These are examples of leadership themes that we have already mentioned: trust, collaboration, community, and global perspective. These are also hallmarks of the McDonnell Academy. Kurt, we thank you for your leadership, and we have a few tokens of our gratitude to share with you. We hope you enjoy them as much as we enjoyed giving them to you, and we will miss you. Please don't be a stranger, and thank you for everything.
I didn't really plan on this, but not every organization includes a spouse or a partner in their events. And so that's pretty unique about WashU since I've been here. And so being part of Kurt's work experience is really special, but more so just the time to watch you all learn, grow, learn from you, with you. It's so easy to get caught up in your day-to-day life and what you have right in front of you. And to come here has always been a pleasure, to take a step back and think about what this world is about. The incredible human beings here in this room that are making a difference, learning and growing. And you give me just such incredible faith and confidence in where this world is headed, knowing that it's in your hands. So enjoy this moment. Congratulations to all of you. And not unlike Mary and Jim, we probably won't be going anywhere. Well, you'll still see us in the future, and thank you.
So everyone will get their very own version of Kurt and Tasha in cookie form.
You better not eat it either.
Oh no, bite the head right off.
All right, so this is not a day about me, but I do want to just a few final remarks. It's really about our graduates, but a couple thoughts on related to leadership. And one certainly is in every seminar that John has done, he talks about the mark to aspire to for leadership. And I think it goes something, I'm going to not quite get this right, but something like this is a good leader is what that says, look at what he or she did. But a great leader, I think you say, is look what we did. And that has really been our team, is to do it together, to allow everyone to contribute, and that success comes from all of you. And I think that's something I'll encourage you all to think about, is how to build that team of what we did. And that's awesome. The other thing that I want to thank Mark for this opportunity to do that. When Mark asked me to do it, as I was thinking about, as I try to think about roles like this, I want to do two things. And one is to be able to contribute in that role, and the other is to learn. Life is a long set of career opportunities. And so as you think about those opportunities, you're all going into one now. Where can you learn? Where can you contribute? But where also can you continue to learn and grow? This has been a tremendous growth opportunity for me. Thank you, Mark, for that opportunity. That growth has come from all the many people here in this room. It's the global perspective from all of you as scholars has been tremendous. That's a piece perhaps I've grown the most, to learn a little bit more about the world. and from each of you and what that means and how to create a culture in the community. And Jim, you did that well. You set that mark very well, a culture which we've tried to follow. And which VJ, I'll challenge you to continue. I know you will, to continue to learn and grow in that. So thanks to all of you for that opportunity. Thanks, John, for creating this special, very special community of that. So with that, we're going to have some fun, to get together one last time here at Lisa's McDonnell Scholars. The best days in university are your first days and your last days are here. Both days to celebrate and to enjoy and to say hello and goodbye. And so that's what we're going to do now, is to have a reception for a little bit. And so congratulations to all of you, and thanks to everyone for being here.